Don't let policy changes catch you by surprise. Stay up to date with the latest breaking news on Canadian immigration. This is your Canadian immigration consultant, Vivian Leah Lucky, sharing good news for you. Hit subscribe now and know that your email address will not be disclosed to any third party. Spread this good news by sharing this video and put a smile on someone who dreamed to come to Canada. Our second topic today is about 12 reasons why you must apply for Canadian immigration now and not later. Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada selects and welcomes as permanent and temporary residents foreign nationals whose skills contribute to Canadian prosperity. It also reunites family members. Number one reason to apply to Canada now and not later is that Canada still accepts spousal immigration application despite coronavirus. The Canadian government has announced they will still be accepting and processing spousal and common law sponsorship applications for partners who are both in Canada and abroad. As the Canadian government continues to refine COVID-19 measures, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada has ironed out a few of the concerns that couples may have about sponsorship during the crisis. IRCC has indicated that they will continue to accept and process new applications for permanent residents and may accept incomplete applications during the coronavirus pandemic. This will allow you not to delay a submission simply because you are unable to obtain a required document due to service disruptions caused by COVID-19. Incomplete applications will be kept and reviewed in 90 days. If the application is still incomplete in 60 days, IRCC officers are instructed to request the missing documents with an additional 90-day deadline. Reason number 2, Canada needs temporary foreign workers. Canada has expedited the process for employers to hire foreign workers in agriculture, food processing, and trucking occupations. Employers hiring foreign workers in 10 agriculture, food processing, and trucking occupations can now skip past a time-consuming step in the work permit process. Canada is now waiving the advertising requirement for the labor market impact assessment in certain high-priority occupations. Number 3 reason, the Government of Canada continues to invite permanent residents through express entry. April 9, 2020, Canada held 2 draws in one day and invited express entry candidates to apply for permanent residence. Canada continues to issue express entry invitations through regular draws despite the pressing coronavirus. Are you already in Canada on a work permit? Temporary residents who are already working in Canada and their work permit should seriously consider getting their application for permanent residence together if their intention is to stay in the long term. Immigration draws that have happened since the coronavirus crisis began was focused towards candidates already in Canada, wishing to switch from temporary to permanent resident. Fourth reason is international students now are eligible for postgrad work permit with online courses. International students starting their Canadian study program in the coming weeks will not be penalized for online coursework if they eventually apply for a post-graduation work permit. Ontario is accepting applications for internationally trained doctors to fight coronavirus. International medical graduates may be eligible for a 30-day certificate to practice in Ontario. International medical graduates in Canada may be eligible for this opportunity. The earlier you get your application in, the sooner you will arrive in Canada if successful. Candidates applying now for Canada immigration can expect waiting periods of an absolute minimum of 6 months. Stripped back processing during the coronavirus crisis could mean an increased wait time, depending on the immigration category. The same idea applies as before the coronavirus crisis took hold. The earlier you get your application in, the sooner you will arrive in Canada. Candidates applying for permanent residence from outside Canada now, even with the fastest processing, will not arrive until the coronavirus peak is over and recovery is underway. Number 7, Canadian immigration processing fees will increase effective April 30, 2020. Permanent resident Processing fees for economic class applicants are generally being increased by 50%, although there are few exemptions. Fees are expected to increase in 2 years based on the applicable Consumer Price Index increase rounded to the nearest $5. New fee amounts will be released in 2022. Number 8 is successful migration with full family. Number 10, dual citizenship allowed. Dual citizenship is when more than one country recognizes you as a citizen. Canada allows its citizens to keep their Canadian citizenship and take on foreign citizenship, but dual citizenship is not legally recognized in all countries like it is here in Canada. Number 11, entitlement to government welfare benefits in case of necessity, such as free medical facilities, free education, old age insurance, and employment insurance. Canada's federal government has released measures aimed to helping not only Canadians but including temporary foreign workers currently working in Canada through the coronavirus crisis. Canada will need immigrants to assist in that recovery. Measures include the new Canada Emergency Response Benefit providing 2,000 Canadian dollars per month to workers who have lost their income due to coronavirus. Employment insurance is also available to those who have lost their job. Canada is a country that cares for its residents. There are a number of social welfare programs offered by the state, in addition to the free healthcare program and children education until grade 12. Canada provides for the following social programs. Employment insurance. Canadian resident is entitled to 60% of the lost wages drawn in case of layoff from job if he or she has worked for nearly 6 months in Canada till then. Social welfare allowance. Canadian resident is entitled to social welfare allowance from the government if he or she is unable to support himself or herself and is not able to get any job. Pension plan. Canadian resident is entitled under the Canadian Pension Plan to receive retirement pension. It depends upon the age at which he or she chooses to opt for the plan and is optimal at age 65. Old age pension. Canadian resident is entitled to old age pension in Canada. The amount of pension will depend upon the number of years lived in Canada. It's maximum if the person has stayed in Canada for 4 years after the age 18. For each year less than that, it is reduced by 1/40 of the full entitled amount. Child care benefit. Federal and provincial government provide certain amount every month for upbringing of each child. The amount depends upon the income earned by the parents in the last year. Today, child care benefit has been increased to help people affected by coronavirus. Education system. Getting a good education is more important today than ever before. It is the best thing you can do to build a better future for your children and yourself. In Canada, education is free in public schools till grade 12. Health system. Canada has one of the finest healthcare system in the world. Excellent hospitals, clinics or doctors, offices are located in most communities. Their services are usually available free of charge to all residents of Canada registered under the National Health Insurance Program. Last April 1st, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada tweeted that express entry rounds of invitations are being held and confirmed that it is accepting and processing applications. Currently, immigrants represent 1 in 5 people in Canada. By immigrants, we mean people born outside of the Canadian territory. Canada has one of the most positive immigration policies in the world. The Canadian government plans to target for 2020 has been set at 341,000, with another 351,000 or so to obtain permanent residence in 2021 and a further 361,000 to follow in 2022.